When I tell you there wasn't a manga that I didn't want to read more than One Piece, I am not kidding. Like a lot of other people I know, not only did I find the first few chapters I was reading hot ass, but also the fact that there was 900 plus more of this, and honestly it was just too much for me. And so I dropped it. I'd say this is around 2019 November, I'd say. Then I'll just skip to over next year, which is, you know, we're in 2020. And Choko from 2020 to now, 2021, has been always telling me, oh yeah, shoutouts to my friend Choko, by the way, but he's been always telling me to watch One Piece, and I've been arguing with him for months on how I think the first few chapters are ass, and I'm not watching this. And, you know, waiting for something to get good doesn't mean it's good. And I said this repeatedly for so long, but it wasn't until Choko one day decided to watch Dragon Ball, which is my favorite series other than One Punch Man. And so in return, I decided to watch his favorite series, that being One Piece. And I decided to watch it because not only did Choko watch Dragon Ball and not read it, but we already know my experience with the One Piece manga. So I decided to watch it, which apparently was worse than the manga. So I was hoping that maybe everyone was wrong. And currently it is July 9th, 2021. I am recording this video. I am on episode 80, and I gotta say, I was completely wrong about not only One Piece in general, but the manga as well. The manga is better paced than the anime, but the anime is still really good. This review is going to be mainly covering the 30 episodes of One Piece, which is basically pre-Arlong. And if you guys like this review and want more of this type of style, or if you want me to go more in-depth with the arcs, like I think I'll go more in-depth with the Arlong Park arc. But if you guys do want to see a review on that and other One Piece arcs, let me know down in the comment section below. But with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be talking about why I was not only completely wrong about One Piece, but why One Piece is gassed and people are also wrong about it too. Let's talk about it. I think the first thing we'd have to talk about is definitely the pacing, which ruins the show for a lot of people, and it ruined the manga for me initially. Personally, I didn't find it super slow or super fast, but it wasn't some godly paced series. I think the reason why I even stayed invested was because of the characters itself, due to how simple the plot is to be set up. Or I guess a better way to put it is how the show just kind of throws the plot at you. Like, I mean, they give you literally the lore in the background at the start of every fucking episode. And in episode 1, they set everything up. You understand why Luffy's trying to become the Pirate King. He ate a fruit, and now he's fucking Mr. Fantastic, and is now trying to look for crewmates. It's very straightforward, and I was surprised since people complained to how this was so boring, and you have to wait for 40 episodes for the show to get good. But that's not the case here at all. Literally at the start, you see the homie Kobe getting his arc of confidence and Luffy inspiring him, and this is just the beginning of Luffy being a goated MC. He's very inspiring towards other characters, and Kobe's the very first person. Going from Alvida's bitch boy to actually having the confidence, and because of Luffy's help, he's able to get into the Marines. Like, all he wants to do is become the king of the pirates. But we see how he's not just all talk about it, you know, it's not just like a little silly dream of his. He's serious. And it's great because this determination and drive also gives Zorro the respect towards Luffy, and not to mention also Luffy did save his life. And Luffy is kind of like Goku in a sense where he acts really stupid or seems stupid, but in actuality he's just a guy with a good heart and he can kick ass. But obviously they have their differences. Goku is an alien who adopts human nature, whereas Luffy already has this human nature but adopts freaky abilities. And all he wants to do is become the king of the pirates. However, having an MC with such a simple goal like this and seeming so quote-unquote basic, you could say, should be ruining the show because it's not interesting, right? But we see not only how people were doubting him initially, but we also see how Shanks deep down actually does believe in him and even sacrifices his own arm to save Luffy's life, gives him his straw hat and tells him to go and pursue his dream. And we see Luffy wearing this determination just like a straw hat. And what I mean by him being so human, or I guess having human nature, is just always seeing what morally is the right thing to do. Like, anytime Luffy is doing something, you know why, and it's for the sake of his homies, and you just can't do anything but root for this guy. Now, I think this is a good time to make a quick side note about what I was saying earlier about the pacing. Now, people usually complain because it seems dragged out and they stay at a certain place longer than they should, and they should be moving around way faster. However, what they do with this is take time fleshing out the characters and you get a lot more attached to them. Sure, you could argue it is a bad thing, but you can make just as good of a case for it being good, especially if you've seen the show. Next character we got is the Goat Zorro, who we see being a Chad and surviving from starvation and going on to fold the main captain who is keeping him hostage. We also see him respecting Luffy like how I said earlier and essentially being his Jobro for the rest of the show. His backstory is also great with him wanting to be the best and him and his one obstacle we're gonna try and get to the top, but she fell down some stairs. But now with him being the only one alive, he's going to try and keep that promise and become the greatest swordsman. Which ties well with Luffy since he wants to go to the top and he wants the best of the best on his crew. We also have Nami, who at first really looked like she didn't have much going for her, but we get subtle hints as to why she steals and what she's doing besides being Luffy's navigator. I'll elaborate more on that in Arlong Park. Now, as for Usopp, he is the goddamn GOAT, going from being humiliated and lying about being a pirate to actually becoming one and standing up to save his village with Luffy and the others' help. His backstory as well with his mother's death, by the way, it did make me tear up. I can't even lie. Lastly, we have Sanji, who we saw overcome his odds after being pooped on by his fellow chefs, and surviving out with Zeph having a really nice backstory that ties with him. We also see how he is always trying to feed people no matter what, if they are good or bad. Everyone gets hungry is his type of mentality, and everyone has to eat. Which I thought was interesting because on our crew we had Luffy and Zoro, who were the morally respectable people on our team, and we had Usopp and Nami, who were known for stealing and playing dirty in fights. Sanji is more in the gray area rather than seeing black and white, which gives the crew overall a better dynamic. We even see this inspire Gin, who goes from Craig's right-hand man to saving Sanji from his own captain. All the characters are fleshed out enough for you to have your favorites and non-favorites, plus each character's personality on the crew is different enough to bounce off of each other, which gives One Piece an easy way to make comedy via having these characters interacting in wacky situations. Comedy in anime really doesn't hit for me, but most of the comedic elements in One Piece made me laugh. Every time we get to see Luffy's intelligence, or Zoro and Nami getting pissed off, Usopp pissing himself, and Sanji being a simper getting mad at the others, it's just great. Now for the episodes I'm covering, we don't get to see the full crew having comedic elements, but even if it's just the main 3 or the main 4, this team has enough dynamics to bounce off each other. And I know comedy is subjective, but I usually find this stuff not really funny, but I find this funny, so it should give you a good idea on how funny the show could be for you. Now, I just went in depth about the main crew, but what about the antagonists? Well, for the first 30 episodes, we mainly have 3 big antagonists, I'd say, and a few side ones. Captain Buggy, who is hilarious and has a unique ability to interact with our other fighters like Luffy and Zoro, and I thought as a starter villain he was fine. Next is Captain Kuro, who I thought was kinda nice considering pirates at this point are just kind of spurgy people who do whatever it takes for clout, but we see Kuro actually being different and wanting something more. He kinda gave me a Kira type vibe from JoJo's, and obviously he's not even close to being as good of a villain as Kira, but he is still solid enough in his own right to give us something interesting, since he mainly wants to have peace after committing a 3-year-long plan to take a rich girl's funds and committing suicide, and ultimately just wants peace, which is great since this bounces off of Luffy, who is about that determination to rise to the top. Seeing someone faking their death just to get some money based on lies and deception is something weak, which isn't super complex, but it's great to just see how well everything just kind of goes together in this show. Next we have Don Krieg, who I guess has a cool arsenal and ability, like he just has guns and super armor, but other than that I don't really see him that interesting. I mean, I think he's the weakest part of his own arc. He's in the same arc that has moments like Sanji's introduction, Zoro versus Mihawk, and Sanji and Zeph's backstory. So when in comparison to everything else in this arc, Krieg is definitely at the bottom and isn't a highlight for me, but he isn't terrible. And lastly, the fights. I feel like One Piece was overall solid with these. It was engaging enough, but it wasn't completely crazy until I was watching Mihawk versus Zoro. I thought the original was crazy enough, but then I saw the remastered version, which is god tier. Luffy versus Craig was alright, and I also like Kuro versus Luffy in Zoro's first fight. So one fight I thought was basically god tier, and the rest I thought were just solid. Overall, I think the show is great, and to everyone who says that it doesn't get good until episode 40, what are you talking about? This show had me invested since episode 1, and I was hating on it for months. Anyways, this is my take on One Piece. I'm rating the first 30 episodes a 8.529 out of 10, and if you guys want me to cover Arlong Park or any other arcs in One Piece, let me know down in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and peace out.